Hi, I'm Brennan Doherty, and aside me today is Gibbons head football coach Stephen Wright, and welcome to this week's edition of the Coach Wright Show. Last Friday, Gibbons opened up their season with a 14-12 gut-wrenching win over Green Hope in the first game of the season. Coach, just take me through the last quarter, specifically that last Green Hope drive as they tried a field goal and they missed it, and that kind of sealed the deal for your team's victory.
Well, obviously we were hoping to, extend the lead a little bit there initially with our offense. We couldn't quite get things going. Had to lean on our defense again, and those guys did a great job of bailing us out. Coming up big, Will Brown on that third and goal from the 4, and knocking the ball down for an incomplete pass, and then forcing them to go ahead and try the field goal there at the end of the game. And fortunately for us, they ended up missing the field goal. The kicker pulled it left.
Green Hope, they scored they actually got a late touchdown in the first half. And then if you look at the box score, they did have a lot of offensive yards, but really your defense is what won that game for you with their red zone defense, and they also forced 4 turnovers. Just how critical was their play in your team's victory?
Well, it was everything. We leaned on the defense big time on Friday night, and those guys did a tremendous job, especially once Green Hope got into the red zone. There were times where they kind of had their way in between the 20s, but when we had to have our defense, they either created a turnover or got a big stop down inside the red zone.
Jackson O'Corn, a senior safety, was one of those guys with forcing turnovers. He had 2 in the first half. What type of player has he really developed into now that he's in his senior year?
Well, he's done a tremendous job for us, and has spent 3 long years preparing himself for this moment. And he stepped in his senior year. And we encouraged him over the summer, with this, that it wasn't anything physical holding him back at this point. It was just, I think, a little bit of confidence. And boy, did he come out and make a statement in week 1 with 2 picks, blocked PAT, and if I'm not mistaken, 5 tackles and a couple big hits.
Now, overall, your offense did have kind of a hard time moving the ball throughout the whole game, but one guy on offense who didn't struggle was senior wide receiver Dante DiMaggio. He caught a touchdown pass. He threw a touchdown pass. Just how much of a luxury is it to have him as a playmaker on your offense?
Well, it's a gift to be able to have him. He actually had a hand in every single one of our points because he even held for the point after touchdowns. And he had a night that we hoped he would have. Certainly, in some ways, bigger than we expected. But he was just dominating as a receiver. The play where Sean got his helmet knocked off and Dante stepped in, he just stepped right in there and threw a strike on a post route, and ended up, being the recipient of a throwing touchdown. So he was really tremendous for us all night, and we're expecting big things out of him this season.
Besides DiMaggio, you only had 2 other wide receivers catch passes though, and Stankiewicz finished with only, I believe, 11 completions on the night. What do you attribute to your team's struggle to pass the ball?
Well, I think part of it is our inexperience at the skill positions. We had 4 seniors starting at wide receiver last year and a senior running back with a junior quarterback, and so it took us a little time to get Sean's feet wet last year. Now we're just that's all been flipped, and so Sean's the veteran back there, but we've got a bunch of new guys outside of Dante DiMaggio filling in roles that were dominated by seniors last year. So, a lot of our inconsistent play was due to just little things, a mental error, a route that wasn't run correctly, a drop ball, a missed block, and we just couldn't quite get things going. And so we're looking forward to this week and seeing if we can clean some of those mistakes up and become a little bit more consistent on the offensive side of the ball.
But there is a lot of talent, though, with those wide receivers. I know you just mentioned their inexperience, but guys like Earl Gill, James Sharaman, Brandon Loy, do you think those guys, their play will pick up as the weeks go on and they get more experienced?
Absolutely, yeah. The issue, fortunately for us, is not skill level because they're all skilled. Even DJ and Peyton, when you throw those guys in the mix, all of these guys are talented. I think it's just a matter of those Friday night reps. And this past Friday night was brand new to them. It's one thing to do it in 7-on-7 in the summer. It's another thing to do it in front of 3,000 people and under the lights on a Friday night. So I think it was, just a matter of them, kind of experiencing that environment, getting some of those reps, and hopefully some valuable experience, and we can move forward from here.
Now, last season you had Ben Grayson at running back. Obviously, you don't have him this year as he graduated this past May. This past game, you didn't really have one starter at running back. You rotated DJ Smith and Peyton Offnick. How are you feeling about your running game?
Oh, we feel good about it. Both of those guys are talented. Peyton's one of our seniors, and DJ's one of our juniors. Both have got unique set of skills. I think Peyton is a little bit more of a downhill runner and does a great job seeing stuff on his own read when we're running that scheme. And DJ is excellent, in a variety of ways. We go unbalanced and he's standing back there as an tailback, or we split him out as a receiver, or even swinging him out of the backfield and allowing him to get into some open space.
Now, your wide receiver, Brandon Loy, also doubles as your place kicker and punter. He had some good kickoffs, a good punt, and also, he had 2 field goal attempts. He missed both of them, but how do you feel about him at that position?
Oh, we feel good. We've got complete confidence in Brandon. He did a tremendous job for us on the kickoff. He's got an extremely strong leg, and it's his PATs, that the execution was perfect. And again, we're breaking in a new center there as well. So, there were a lot of new moving parts when it came to that field goal operation. And even though we were clean on the PATs, he just barely pulled one on that first attempt and pulled the second. So I'm not concerned at all. I think he's going to do a great job for us this year. He's got a lot of talent as a kicker.
Now, moving on to next week's game at Cary. Their defense was very experienced the past 2 years you played them. Only your second game coaching Gibbons, you got shut out by them 19-0, and then last year you did manage to come back and win against them 15-12, but they do lose their top 10 tacklers statistically speaking from last season, and they do lose their starting quarterback and their starting running back from last year on offense. But what kind of challenges does this Cary team pose?
Well, they really continue to just reload each year with athletes, and they've got a tremendous defense. They've probably got one of the best nose tackles I've seen in years. He's strong, he's athletic, he does a great job using leverage. Their strong safety is a veteran for them and is a tremendous athlete. And so they've got guys that can still run, can still tackle, and it's going to be a big challenge for us Friday night. And offensively, they come in with a whole new philosophy. They go to a ground attack and out of a wing T formation, and we're going to have our full. It's really the polar opposite of what we saw this past week with Green Hope. Against a spread pass happy team, we're actually seeing the exact opposite. I think they attempted one pass and completed it, and outside of that, it was run. So it's certainly going to be a new challenge for our defense.
Now, let me ask you this: when a team does run the ball that much, does it make defending the pass the 1 or 2, 3 times they do it a little bit harder for the secondary?
It certainly does, because it's always based off of play action. You've lulled a secondary to sleep because you've run it the past 15 or 20 times, and the next thing you know, there's a tight end or a wing back running by you, and your eyes are still stuck in the backfield. So it takes a lot of discipline, and it becomes a difficult assignment because you're asking the defensive backs to participate in the run game and yet be prepared to defend the pass.
All right, that's all for this week. Thanks for joining us, Coach, and remember to join us again next week as we review this Friday's Cary game and look forward to next week's Broughton game.